Swing it, Daddy.
All right, what's up, everybody? We are live. I am Scott Smokin Silz, coming to you from Chicago, joined by my man Brad Baumruck, our referee-in-chief. What's going on, buddy? How you doing? He's eating his Twizzlers. You know, he's eating red vines. You know, I told him, I said, I like Twizzlers, but they got to be the strawberry ones. Man.
I ate lunch at like 11, so I'm like dying over here.
Hey, we got two thumbs up for Twizzlers, apparently. Somebody else decided they liked him, too, so... Maybe we have to change the theme of the show. Anyway.
We'll talk about candy.
Yeah, I like that. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about score sheets. And the reason for this, I think we have a lot of brand new or newer officials. And I don't think they really understand what the deal is with the score sheet and their responsibilities. So Justin is chiming in. What's up, Justin? And Justin says, I love electronic sheets, no longer rock with paper. Yeah, I don't disagree with you, but, you know, the iPaper or the iPad, it's a choice. And we don't get that choice. It seems like certain leagues use certain things, or if they're, you know, it's a practice game or something, then maybe they go with the score sheet. Either way, the functionality is the same and your responsibilities are the same. So whether it's paper or electronic, you're still going to have to take care of certain things and look for certain things. And actually, I think sometimes the paper sheet is a little bit easier than the electronic sheet because there's codes and things of that nature. It's more organized on the electronic sheet. There's a lot of benefits to that. But, you know,
you can always read it.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about the handwriting. It doesn't look like a doctor filled it out, so it's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, also, one of the things that I think a lot of our newer officials don't realize is the importance of the score sheet. Because if maybe you think you had nothing going on in that game, no big deal. I'm signing the score sheet so I get paid. That's probably what they think. If I don't sign the score sheet, I don't get paid. They don't put their name on the score sheet. Or we have officials that are going to the iPad and they're signing it before the game even starts. So you don't know what you're signing at that point, okay? Yep. The scorekeeper can make 100 errors on there, and there's all kinds of problems. The score sheet is a legal document. It is the reference for anybody down the road, any incident that arises from that game or possibly arises down the road. Let's say somebody got hurt that you don't even know about, and you didn't think there was an injury during the game or something, and somebody says, yeah, and they send a video in or whatever. The first thing anybody's going to look at is the score sheet. Yep. Let's say a parent's not happy. Mom's goalie. Son didn't have a good day. Mom's goalie going to send in a PED for the referees. They aren't any good. It's all their fault that their son had a terrible game and that he didn't win. Well, first thing they're going to look at is that score sheet and see if it's sour apples. So he lost 10-0. I'm sure that's the referee's fault. Referees had everything to do with that. That kid would never have given up 10 goals, ever. But the referee's fault.
One thing you did say, Scott, that I just want to clarify. So in different areas, so in our area, it's a PED. So that's just what we call it. It's basically an official's evaluation. That's what it's called in a lot of other places in the country. So whatever you call it in your local area, I just want to clear that up so that people know what we're talking about.
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out, too, because, I know it from the Chicagoland area. I don't know it from the other areas of the country, so that's great information. But the bottom line is that's what they're going to go look at. They're going to go look at the score sheet, and the score sheet is going to lead them to everything else. So if there was a problem with a player, was he on the score sheet? Maybe he wasn't on the score sheet. Why wasn't he on the score sheet? Now they're going to go probably to a video, most likely live barn, and they're going to look to see who's out there. So the score sheet is the starting basis for everything. So the importance, it's going to tell the story of the game. It's going to tell you the goals that were scored. It's going to tell you the penalties that were assessed, the times everything happened. And this is what they're going to use to reference to a video to see what's going on. So it is the legal document. Let's say something goes bad, real bad, catastrophic bad. And this ends up in court. The first thing they're going to look at is the score sheet. It's the legal document. It's the legal document for the game. It's the only thing that they have to go back to look at, with the exception of obviously going to try to find a video. But let's say the building doesn't even have a live barn. Right. Let's say a parent shot a video. We don't even know if the video was shot in the same rink on the same day. We're going by a score sheet that's going to say what happened. They're going to say, oh, well, this guy, he got hurt at 5 minutes of the first period. Well, there's no live barn in the building. What building are you looking at, sir? Is that even the same game that's being sent in? Because here's a score sheet that doesn't have anything on it. The scoreboard up there says it's 1-0 for the home team. On the score sheet, there's no goals scored at this point. So this is the importance of a score sheet, and this is why you don't want to sign it before the game. You want to make sure you sign it after the game. You want to check it. You want to count the number of players on each team that are participating.
Yeah, actually, there's a good story about that I can reference and how serious the counting of players can be. So back, it's been quite a few years now, but when state comes in for our state, all the teams are required to turn in all their score sheets to be reevaluated and revetted to make sure that players have played enough and all this other stuff, right, according to our state rules. And there was a team at one point that they won a game, and I believe the outcome of the win was like 5-2 or something like that. And when they went back and they vetted the score sheets, well, guess what? That game, they had 19 players listed playing on their roster.
19 skaters.
They had no. It was 19. It was so correct. It was not 19. 21. Excuse me.
Right.
21.
So
they were
probably 19 skaters and 2 goaltenders.
2 goalies. Yep, 2 goalies. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Anyway, so they came back and there's no video of it, no nothing. So they tossed the entire game out of their record. And that game actually knocked them out of state playoffs because they had too many players on the score sheet. Now, that is definitely a coaching issue, but ultimately, when we go out on the ice, we need to count how many players are out there, how many goalies are out there, verify that we have the right number starting, because the next thing that could happen too, let's say you have 17 guys on that score sheet and you didn't count, and there's 18 out on the ice, and they score a goal, and that guy's not on the score sheet or he takes a penalty. Now, even worse, you have to penalize the one team to add that player to the score sheet.
Right.
So, it falls ultimately on us to make sure that that's right. The scorekeeper does document the game. The timekeeper runs the time. Sometimes that's the same person, about 90% of the time. But the referees ultimately oversee the whole thing, and we need to verify that everything's right.
Yeah. And honestly, so often, because it's parents doing the score sheet versus a professional scorekeeper, and I'm not even saying the professional scorekeepers always get it right, but if you have a penalty that comes with an automatic misconduct,
I mean, a game,
a lot of like a
Yep.
2 and 10 or a a 2 and a 5 in a game. Make sure the right codes are on there. And I've even had this happen to me where I had a coincidental situation, and I got him to fix what I thought he was fixing was the first one. I thought he was fixing them both. He only fixed one of them. And let me tell you something. It's a hassle. It's a lot of phone calls. It's a lot of emails. It's a lot of paperwork to get it fixed. I took a look at the score sheet. I'm like, oh, man. He only took care of the one after I just told him to take care of both of them at the same time. So, you see that it's on there, but, yeah, it was screwed up. So it's a problem, honestly. So, this is what you have to look at and double check it. Take your time. If you have a lot of stuff on the sheet, take it back to the ref room, where you could sit down in a quiet environment and look at everything and make sure it's correct. If you've got a lot going on.
And the one thing is if you are going to take it back to the officials' room, because these are a lot of the times people's personal iPads, okay, explain to them that you need to look at it, let them know exactly where the door is, let them follow you, let them stand at the door so that they don't think you're going to steal it. We've had a couple people that are a little hesitant to let the referees take it. If you fully explain to them, I'm going to be over here, come with us, you can wait right here. Once I'm done with it, I'll give it to you. No problem. It really eases the tensions of it. And, iPads are, they're cheaper than they were, but they're still not
they're still
5
expensive.
cents. They're not a piece of paper. So it's one of those things we have to be a little more considerate with the technology than we've ever thought of, and really explain if there's pushback. Just say, look, we want to make sure this is right. We're going to give it back to you. Like, if you explain to that, 99% of people are pretty rational. If you give them a rational explanation, they'll let you take it. They'll wait outside the door. They'll probably even say, oh, I'll be right here in the lobby, because I've done that where I've walked it back out to them and handed them right in the lobby, Yeah. So just be considerate of it, because remember, that is somebody's expensive property. It's just one of those things that I want to put out there, because we have seen a little bit of pushback on it, and I do understand it. So I just want to make sure everybody's aware of that too.
We also have scorekeepers that just out the door. Doesn't matter. You could have 30 penalties in that game, and they're
gone.
Horn gone. Like, where did they go? I don't have the sheet.
Yep. I've had that before.
I can't sign this. Like, you got to find them. So, these are some of the things that you're up against once in a while. It's not all the time. Most of the time, everything is pretty smooth. But, there are exceptions. Just like there are exceptions. Seems like the biggest exception is when you do have a problem, waiting to get that email score sheet that comes back to you.
Yeah, every once in a while. It's so, there's a trick to that, and I tell a lot of referees with the game sheets, when you have the game sheet, when you lock the game, there's a blue iCloud button.
Yep.
Okay.
Even if goes.
Even if that iPad is not connected to the internet at that time, push that button, because what's going to happen is that iPad's going to make it back to its owner. Okay. And about 99% of the people have their iPad tied into one of these. Okay. And it's tethered to it for the internet. So the second they get close enough, it isn't even in their hand. It's gone.
Goes. Yep. So you will get it.
That's the biggest trick, so that you get them as fast as possible. If not, you can always reach out to the local leagues. We've had no problems. The leagues all know that they're important. I don't think I've waited longer than 5 hours for a sheet this year that, we've requested. So they're real good about it. Just, if you know somebody that, maybe knows somebody, let them know, hey, I'm looking for this. The clubs are very reasonable. Every once in a while I've seen guys where, they'll attach me to an email, and they found contact us on the league, the league website, or, the team's website. If you're not comfortable with doing that, reach out to your local affiliate, and they should be able to help you out there.
Yeah. So, also kind of knowing where the teams are. If you're at a tournament, you have teams that are in from out of town. You might need to know what state they're playing out of, because some of these states that you think are like in New Jersey, they're in Texas, okay? They got the same name. I don't know if that's a good example, but there are some that are like that. So, you can have Springfield, Illinois. You can have Springfield, Missouri. You just don't know.
There's 21 cities, I think, that are named Springfield in the United States.
Oh, there you go. So you could have a lot of potential teams.
Yeah, that's the reason for the Simpsons picking the name Springfield.
Oh, I didn't even know that. See, I'm not a big Simpsons aficionado like you are, but well.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Justin says, get them emailed to me instead of having to take a photo. Yeah, getting them emailed to yourself. Yeah, that is absolutely right. But, it never hurts to even take a picture of the iPad if you need to. If you really feel like you got a lot going on and you don't want anything to happen, that's a good way to make sure you got it. So
you can also go into the iPad just like a phone. You could take a screenshot of it.
That's right.
And you can actually dial yourself on the iPad and send yourself a text.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You can do that. It is. Now
I've never done that. That's a good tip.
It might not be connected to the internet, but the second they get next to that person's phone, away it goes.
Yeah, so that's a good little insider tip there. There's a hack for you. We're like hacking. We're referee hacks now. I mean, most people think we're hacks anyway, but that's beside the point.
That's the ability, not.
Matt S says, "Good evening, gentlemen. Love the show. Thank you for that. Thank you, Brad, for answering my email earlier about the next step after my seminar." Okay.
No problem.
Speaking of seminars, so you have till the end of the month. Is that correct? October 31st to sign up to register.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because somebody thought it was like October 1st. I'm like, nope, you got till the 31st. There's still seminars out there. They're online Zoom calls from different states, but you do have the potential to still get it done. There's about 6 days or 7 days left at the time of this broadcast. Yeah, at the time we're recording this. Yeah, so still have a chance to. Yeah, still have a chance to get in. Oh, I was thinking it was 24th. Yeah, it's 23rd. So you got 8 days. You got a week. You got a week basically.
Yeah.
So 1 week from the time that we broadcast this.
And those seminars can actually take place after 10/31. So there are ones online that are after that, but you have to be totally complete, and that includes your Safe Sport. Okay, for guys that are waiting for their Safe Sport to expire, they're not going to send you your new card and crest until you get your new Safe Sport done. That's a new thing, and there was some concern of people getting their cards and crests, but then their Safe Sport expires later after they already have a crest. So it seems that they've been not sending those out. We had some problems at the beginning. That's what we've been telling people to do. Boom, you get your card and crest in like 3 days. It's been super fast. Helen out in the mountain has been killing herself. Yeah. If anybody ever has to send her an email or something, be very nice to her. She deals with
she's been there a long time.
People.
Yeah,
long time. So
Helen takes care of you.
Yep, totally.
Yeah, so basically, correct me if I'm wrong. So you still have your crest is still good through the end of November. Is that correct? Your current crest?
Yeah.
Your 23-24 is still active until. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And then December 1, baby.
December 1 is the cutoff, which I'll tell you right now, probably in our state, probably by November 10th. It might even be like November 4th because they get CCM weekend here. I'm sure they're looking for bodies. But after that, they're probably going to cut you off from your games until you get stuff done because they're not going to want to reschedule twice. They're going to schedule once, not twice. So if you're putting in for games and you're not current, you're probably not going to be getting those games. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, and if you're not up to date for the next season, you won't get games in December. It just won't happen until you're complete.
Yeah, but you're going to be putting in for them in November, and you're probably not going to get them because otherwise their fear is that you're not going to complete, and they'd have to reschedule those games to somebody else and try to find somebody, which can be very difficult. So Let's see. Matt just had another comment here. Let's see what he says. Completed seminar Saturday morning, 10:19. The card was mailed 10:21. They seem to be getting mail out quickly. Yes, they do. It is their job, my friend. That's what they do.
And also, you know what? That attributes to who ran your seminar. Whoever the registrar is, or if the seminar instructors had to submit your attendance. That means that they submitted it very quickly, and that's why it was able to get out just as fast. USA's turnaround's been just phenomenal. So the past couple of years. So, and you know what? It's a lot of people. So it's a lot of cards and crests, and they manually stick that stuff in envelopes.
Plus, they got coaches that are doing seminars too. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Speaking of coaching, as I've told you, this is for referees, coaches, players, and fans. Well, I'm a coach too now, so.
I don't consider what you do.
First road trip coming up. So we're going to Madison for a road trip, for a tournament over the CCM, because all the rinks are busy here. So teams out of town, but I found it interesting. So we're going, and who are we playing? We get 4 games guaranteed.
All Chicago teams.
3 out of 4 are Chicago teams. We're playing. We're in Winnetka for our team. We're playing Chargers, Huskies, and Jets. 3 Chicago area teams. Why are we going up there for this?
Everybody else is doing the same thing because my boys are going up. They're going to Grand Rapids.
Yeah, Grand Rapids is a good spot to go. Who are they playing?
They're playing. Well, the best is they're playing Joliet. Okay, Joliet and the rinks are 10 minutes apart.
Yeah, exactly.
But they can't play here, so they're going to play up there. So it was just funny when they got the schedule. My wife was laughing, and I'm like, well, everybody wants to get away. You can't do anything. You can't practice. The rinks are all totally booked up. And even if you tried to put a game in there, if you had time, right?
Yeah, you'd have to get a 10:30 time slot, 10:30 p.m., and hope that they finished on time that day.
Yeah, so, but I get it. You know what?
Yeah.
It's still a good time. It's a good team bonding. So
it's funny though, because as a referee, I'd hear the coaches sometimes. They'd be from LA. They'd be like, why are we playing these guys? They're 10 minutes away from them. We play them all the time. So they came to Chicago from LA, flew here, or from Canada, and they're playing their neighbors. They're playing their regular neighbor that they play all the time. So now I get it. I understand.
Well, interesting. Quite a few years ago, when I worked ACHA Nationals, so I was working in the Division III, and when they do the pool play, they separate everybody out from their district. So the 4 teams that come in are all put out into the district, into the pool play, and the 4 teams that emerged from the pool play for the semis were all 4 teams that played in the same league against each other from Michigan. All 4 of them were from Michigan. And then they had to play, the last one they had to play the final. They were all like, we could have played this at home. We could have went home and played the semifinal and the final there. Instead we're here for another 2 days. But it's interesting, but that had never happened before in ACHA history, and it happened that time. It was interesting. And I'll tell you this, for the D3s, it might have been, it was D3. It was the 4 teams that came out were very, very, very good. So I could see why all 4 of them came out, because they've been killing each other all season.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that kind of makes it, if it's a, almost like their big tournament, you're going to play somebody from your own area. But this is we're traveling to get away to find somebody else to play.
No, I get it.
We don't want to see our local team. We want to see some new faces and play some new hockey styles. But, so we ended up, I think we got 1 game from a team from Missouri or something, if I'm not mistaken. But, as I looked at all the brackets, it's all Chicago teams. It's everybody had to get out of Dodge.
Which that Missouri team you guys will be playing in your next tournament. Just so
right,
you know.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I thought that was funny anyway.
Yeah.
But now I can appreciate it more, being on the other end and seeing okay, why are we doing this?
Oh, I get it.
But it's going to be a fun weekend, and it's going to be great. The kids are going to love it. I mean, they're going to have a blast, so that's very cool. I mean, I'm excited for them.
I was looking at the weather. It looks like it's going to be nice in Michigan that weekend so far right now.
Oh, nice,
So
nice.
you get some nice days up in November up in Michigan. That can be very, very nice. So
Well,
it should be
we're
a
in
good one.
Chicago, and the weather's been great. Like, we're having a really nice fall.
Oh,
The trees
best
just
fall
started to
in
really
20
change
years.
colors yesterday, and the leaves are starting to come down. They started coming down yesterday because it got a little windy here. So, good time of year. That's all. So, all right. The other thing I kind of wanted to talk about today, which I didn't put in the description for everybody in the thumbnail because less words looks better. But I think we should really talk a little bit about insurance coverage. And the reason I'm bringing this up, I saw something posted on Facebook in another group. Somebody had took a puck, I think, probably to the face. I'm sorry to hear that, but it does happen. As you look at my upper lip here, yeah, it does happen. But if you're, you really do need to be aware of what is covered and what is not covered. And we're not insurance experts. Brad's more of an insurance expert than I am. But kind of the thing that I wanted to explain and talk about is sanctioned versus non-sanctioned, because a lot of these questions were raised in that Facebook group. And I'm like, wow, there's some wrong information here and there's some right information here. And it's a lot of different people telling you a lot of different things. But the fact of the matter is, a USA hockey game that's a sanctioned USA hockey game means, right, both teams are registered. They're all USA hockey people that have signed up and done whatever they need to do in their timely manner. And then they are being scheduled to play a USA hockey sanctioned game. So that being said, if you're in a different category, like non-sanctioned, that game is not insured by USA Hockey.
Correct.
So maybe I should let you explain this because you know a little bit more about this than I do.
You're doing great.
I'm hitting it out of the park, huh? Let's say, for example, and I'm going to get away from youth hockey because for the most part in the Chicagoland area, your games are going to be USA hockey teams that are playing. For us in Chicago, if you go to the certain site, our AHI site, that you're requesting your games and being scheduled by them, those are sanctioned USA hockey games.
Correct.
On the other hand, especially when you get to spring hockey, a lot of those games are not sanctioned USA hockey games, and that's why they do not schedule on the AHI site. So, with that being said, if, let's say you have a tournament team, maybe guys coming from different states or different areas that play on different teams during the regular season, this is a tournament team that they are taking somewhere. This is not going to be a USA hockey sanctioned game.
So there are some exceptions to that. Like
that's why I want you to.
Yeah, so if you do have a tournament team, because some areas do that, just because they either don't have the amount of kids that want to travel, or they're in a part of the country where some of the families can't afford to travel, so they'll do that in some other areas, or they'll put together a really good team to go to these other areas where they have like 5 mediocre teams to where they go get killed in a tournament. They take the top kids and put them together. They can get a USA Hockey certified roster. So they can do that. So that would be, part of it. The tournaments are also sanctioned by USA Hockey. So they get a USA Hockey tournament number. It's an ID. So that's another way. And, if you ever look at the CCM site, it actually tells you what the ID is. If you ever go to their website. And a lot of the tournaments do that. They put it right there. They put it in their paperwork, whatever it is. So that's number one. The other thing I want to mention, too, is because we'll get a lot of questions if we don't clarify this. What about teams from Canada and Europe and stuff like that? Okay, so teams that are coming across borders like that, USA Hockey has it negotiated with either Hockey Canada or whoever they're with. What USA does is they take in them as like a sanctuary, from what it's been explained to me. So that game is covered for all the participants, and it's because they're out of the country. And international insurance laws get very complex. That's what the world courts are for. So as the teams come in and out, the teams that have these things, that's how they end up sanctioning the games. So you don't have to worry about that if a team from Canada's here or a team from Europe's here.
Right.
As long as they're playing in a USA Hockey sanctioned tournament, you're fine. So, like, that's a big thing, and a lot of people have always asked how that works. And it's, from my understanding, we basically take them on as part of it because they're coming in from another country. That way they don't have to have all these insurance issues. So that's what's been explained to me. Now, I could be 100% wrong.
So the other thing, let's say, all right, so you kind of know you're safe if you're going to the A-High site and requesting games. If you're in the Chicagoland area, you're safe.
Yep.
But just because you go over to some of the other schedulers use Horizon WebRef, and if you go over there and take some games, it doesn't mean that they're not sanctioned. Because there are, they may have a tournament that they're scheduling, and they're all USA Hockey teams. So even though you're on their site, does not mean it's not a USA Hockey sanctioned game.
Correct.
I think 100%. where you're going to run into a potential situation would be, let's say you're taking a men's league game somewhere. They may not pay for USA Hockey. All the players on the team didn't sign up to be USA Hockey participants or members. I guess you'd call them members at that point.
Yep.
So those are no longer USA Hockey sanctioned games. So in that situation, USA Hockey is not your insurer, your carrier for that game. Now, that's not to say that whoever scheduled that game doesn't have insurance coverage, because I'm not saying that they don't. It's not to say that the rink doesn't, because sometimes rinks schedule games themselves. So I'm going to assume that the rinks have some sort of insurance coverage, but I'm not going to. I'm assuming, and you know what that means, right?
Mm-hmm.
I
can spell it, but I'm not going to. It's
exactly.
a family program.
Yeah. So, these are the things that you need to be aware of. Now, the person that had posted this thing on Facebook had talked about the dental situation because I think they took a puck to the face. Yep. And right away they're like, well, they don't get dental insurance from USA Hockey. That's not true. You do get insurance for dental. And as a referee, you actually, to my understanding, get it taken care of.
Only the referees have it.
Really quickly. Yes, really quickly, because remember, guys, we're only wearing a visor. We wear a visor. We don't have a full cage that protects our chin and our teeth and everything else. So because of that, we are covered. And you should be aware of that is covered.
Men's league players, beware. You are not covered wearing a halfer.
Yeah, and those tend to be
league,
the knuckleheads that turn around and slap the puck up high real fast. So, is what it is. Yes. So
there is dental coverage.
Yeah. And I just kind of wanted to go through that because I saw that, and I know a lot of people had questions on it, and there's a lot of newer officials that don't know about some of this stuff. So I thought we would share it. And I will tell you, having had my leg broken in half back in 2019 at a high school game, it was very expensive for USA Hockey. It was very painful for me and a long time to recover. But, you do have coverage, and it's pretty good. It's better than pretty good. Not going to cover everything, guys. There's going to be some out-of-pocket expense here, and there's certain things they're not going to cover, probably in the physical therapy area and things of that nature. But the hospital and the doctors and the anesthesiologists and all that stuff, coverage is pretty good. It's pretty good, especially if...
Well, so just remember, though, USA Hockey is a secondary insurance.
Right.
So if you don't have regular insurance, which you should if you're refereeing ice hockey, because we can get seriously injured.
Yeah.
But it's a secondary. If not, you do hit the catastrophic phase, and then USA Hockey takes care of it. And from what I've heard, anytime people send them stuff, it's quick. They're fast about it. So the other thing is too, this year they've implemented an electronic filing form. It was a form that had to be submitted through your local affiliate, and it had to go through the district referee and chief. And
right.
So, but now it's now all streamlined. If somebody needs it, all you got to do is send over an email and they can get you over that link.
And a suggestion to anybody out there: if you are on the ice and there's an incident, send in an incident report, file an incident report, or notify somebody that something happened.
Yep.
Because that is your backup as to, like, we can see it on Live Barn. We can ask questions. We know what happened. You know, it's a legitimate, situation. So
yeah, the game has to be certified.
Yeah.
So the game has to be certified by somebody in your local area. And they do request video if you can get it. Now, sometimes the claims come in so late, Live Barn's already gone. So there's not much we can do about it. But they do request it, and they are very happy when they do get it. It makes the process much smoother. So if you do get hurt on the ice and there's Live Barn, go pull your injury, even though it might hurt to relive it.
Yep.
But pull it, keep it, get a record into whoever you need to. That way there's a record of it. So then when somebody goes, hey, there's an insurance claim here for so-and-so, they're not like, oh, yeah, because we had one that referee drove another referee to the hospital during state last year. He took a puck in the mouth, knocked a tooth out. And, like, thank God we had an evaluator in the building, because I'm like, I think I remember this kind. And I called them and like, oh, yeah, remember he got hit in the face and he couldn't drive and he was going to? And I had somebody else take him. I'm like, I remember that. Yep, game happened, certified. Like, and that's how fast it happens. Yeah. So, but he did send an email to us. It just, I didn't remember it. I'll be the first one to say that.
So, now on the other hand, I'm going to be the devil's advocate here, because I do know I've had a player on one of my teams, my men's league team, that was playing in a USA sanctioned league where everybody was a member of USA Hockey, and he suffered a really bad injury going into the boards. I'm not going to tell you what it was, but it had something to do with his leg. And I think he was in one of what's the brace that goes around your leg that's like a halo or something, like where it's like an eggshell that collapsed in there or whatever. Is bad. Anyway, he worked for a good company, had really good insurance, but I don't know that he ever got any of his out of pocket taken care of. I also know another person that had a wrist situation. They got like the erectors set in there now, and I'm not sure that, they ever recouped any of their money on that situation. And I know they made phone calls. So, again, I'm not an insurance guy. I can't tell you. I could tell you that I have suffered an injury out there, and it was pretty damn good. Okay. Way better than things could have been. So, take that with a grain of salt. There are some supplemental coverages that you can get. I know that there are some organizations out there that sell policies just for referees, for hockey referees. Yep. It's not real expensive. And I think they give you an umbrella policy. And they also, pay a portion of dental or medical. Again, don't quote me on this, because I don't have the information in front of me and I can't tell you, but do a little research. There are some things. Talk to some of your other referee friends, and which is always the best idea, because we all like to talk in the ref room, and you learn some very valuable information, including like officiating and all kinds of good stuff. So, if you're a quiet person and you're in the ref room, don't be, because you can learn a lot in there. You can learn a lot, especially when you got like 8 or 10 officials in there getting ready for games. And there's a wealth of knowledge and information available to you right there. So take advantage of it. Most referees that have been around are very generous with their time and knowledge, almost to a fault probably, because, if this was a competitive business, even though it's competitive, they would not be sharing this information with you.
Yeah, the only problem is I don't know if I have to ref with you next week, Scott. So if I have to ref with you, I want you to get better before I see you next week. See, that's where it is, because when we go out there, if one person doesn't know it, guess what? You're all the problem.
That's right.
So we all want to be the best.
That's why you guys need to know the information. You need to know your rule book. And that's something that I see as an evaluator. I see a lot of situations that are not handled correctly. And, we try to point these out and try to help people to learn some of this stuff. But a lot of it is you need to spend some time in the rule book, and you need to, watch the videos. they send you videos for a reason. They have videos from your seminar for a reason, and they let you go back and look at those videos for a reason. You know, positioning, rule knowledge, all kinds of good stuff. So, you know, never hurts to go back. I know a lot of guys will tell me they read the rule book twice a year. Not a bad idea. They read it at the start of the season to get ready, and they read it again before playoffs, which refreshes their memory to get them ready for the high-level games.
The weird stuff.
Yeah.
That's when the weird stuff really starts to happen, man.
Absolutely.
If you think it can't happen, you're going to be at a rink.
You're going to get put in a situation, and, you know, it's going to be a learning experience, and once it happens to you, you know, you won't forget.
It'll never
Trust me.
happen again.
But you want to know it when you're in that situation. You don't want to be out there guessing. And that rule book is about that thick, okay? It's a big book. Nobody, to my knowledge, knows every single thing that's in there, okay? I mean,
it's a group
lot of us are really good at this, and, you know, you got to use the phone a friend sometimes and check on something. You know, if you had a situation, learn from it. Make a note of it, and, you know, share that information, because I'm sure a lot of other officials probably haven't had that situation either, because I'm like, how many years are you into this? 24, 25 now?
26.
26 years. There's still occasions where something new pops up,
There's still
right?
stuff I'm like,
yeah, I'm not sure about this.
And I have to like look at the other person, and they're like looking at me. I'm like, okay, there's something to this, and I'll be like, am I right on this? Or the worst, like, you know, now that we don't have any standalone fives, like back in the day, there'd be a lot of times where I'd be with somebody, you know, that I'm with, and they're lining or whatever, and I'd be like, hey, yeah, I can call a standalone five on this one, right? Yeah, you can. But we don't have that anymore. You just, you get automatically ejected. Yeah. So, but that phone a friend does work, okay? Yeah.
Speaking of the standalone five, was that discussed for rule changes for the book coming forward this year?
I honestly don't. I don't know. I don't remember. That's coming up real soon here, baby, in January.
We're going to have a rule change year coming up. So hopefully, they said we're going back to delayed offsides.
We will find out.
Yep. So anyway, better. Let's hope. But anyway, that's you know, so that's some food for thought. I thought we'd share a few of those things. I got to run because I got a couple games. So anything you want to talk about?
No.
How's your fantasy hockey team doing?
Not. Oh, how is your fantasy hockey team doing? Terrible. God, I hope that.
You know, I lost week 1, but I won week 2, and I'm shocked. I thought I'd lose every week because honestly, I drafted. There's 12 teams. I drafted 12.
Bad, huh?
So yeah, it was horrible. I don't have any
It drafts into snakes, Scott.
Yeah,
So
I don't have
1 through 12. Then you
and
get
then
13, and then it goes backwards.
Right. So you're getting 12 and 13 picks. You know, number 12 and number 13, and then you're down to way down there. Okay, so you know Elias Pettersson's my top player from Vancouver.
You got to make some trades, baby. Got to make some trades.
Yeah. Okay. That's my top player. Okay.
Start paying your guys your league cash. Give you $100 for that guy.
Yeah.
What's the punishment in your
league? You can only win $50. I think. You know. I think that's all we put in was
nobody cares about the 50. What about the punishment?
I know.
That's what I want to know about.
But I'll tell you what. I got another. I did 2 other teams. I did 2 freebies off Yahoo. And I got one. I loaded up. I got 4 goaltenders on that team. I got Shesterkin. I've got like the cream of the crop goaltenders, and my points are through the roof. I got Soros. So I got 4 goaltenders on that team, and I'm having a ball with that. Okay, because I was able to get some players, but my other teams are brutal. I got Seth Jones. Oh.
Start. You got to get on that live wire, baby.
I got Seth Jones. I swore I wouldn't take Seth Jones. It was like, don't take Seth Jones. That's the number 1 don't take. And sure enough, he's on my roster. Because there were no defensemen that were regulars at that point in time. I'm like, wow, I got to take him.
Yeah.
So, Seth, you better play better. You better be good for me this year.
Sure he's worried about you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. If I have anything to do with a $8 million a year contract he's got, is that what he makes? About $8 million a year?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't keep up on contracts.
It's a Seabrook. It's another Seabrook deal. Oh, well. Loved you, Seabrook. Seabrook was awesome here for many, many years, man. He was the best.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's about it. That's all I got on my plate for today. I hope you guys had a good time. Thanks for joining us. And we will be back here next Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. Chicago time. Don't forget, you can always get the replays on YouTube. Ref Room, that's what it's called, at Ref Room. All right. Peace out, everybody. On behalf of my man, Brad Baumruck, coming to you for the Boondocks, I am Scott Smokin Silz. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you soon. Peace out.